Well, let's look at Tuesday's action. You got 4 games happening, 2 on FS1, 2 on the Big Ten Network. For us, you got Washington and Rutgers early, then Minnesota against Michigan, and that one is where we're going to start our focus right now, because if Michigan wins this game, they will clinch a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. But first, they have to beat the Gophers to do that. And Mike, it's one of those things, maybe those banners matter less now than 30 years ago, but they still matter, right? Winning a regular season championship is still something that a coach uses as a goal, and it's still a thing that a team can be remembered for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big believer in regular season conference championships. Even though they don't convey a bid to the NCAA tournament, I think they're still a remarkable achievement, especially for a team like Michigan that was anticipated to be good, and therefore the schedule reflected that, and the late schedule reflected that. We saw the series of challenging games that they've got to play in the remainder of the Big Ten. So I think it's an exceptional achievement. And going against the Gophers, I think this is their chance to start applying the lessons that they learned in the Duke game. And the first one, I would say, is play the game in front of you. Play it as it played out. Now, one of the concerns that I expressed after the game on Saturday was that they didn't punish Cam Boozer at all defensively. They didn't make him work. He's going to be everything to their offense. So tire him out, wear him out, maybe even get him into foul trouble faster than you did by going to any one of the 3 big guys, whichever one he was defending, and make him work. Okay, so what's that? How's that translate to Minnesota? Well, you have maybe the deepest team in America. I think you have 8 starters. You have the deepest team in America, and right now, Minnesota, in its impaired state, is the thinnest team in this league. So make that the issue. Play the game as it plays out in front of you. You don't know what you're going to face in March Madness. You may play another very fine team that's only got 6 guys healthy, and you got to make that work for you.
Yeah, and I look at Michigan in this game, it's going to be a half-court game, because you look at Minnesota, like Mike mentioned, they're injured, they're down a few guys, they're going to play that 2-3 zone. And when that shot goes up, they're all going to get back on the defensive end and negate Michigan's transition game. So Michigan's going to have to figure it out in the half-court. And like Mike mentioned, that is where they struggled against Duke. So it's going to be a cat-mouse game. How do they navigate that 2-3 zone? How do they have their movement going? How's their ball movement? Because that's what I'm looking at. And then on the other end, you look at Minnesota, they cut better than anybody in the country. And you saw moments in that Duke game where Yaxel Lindenberg just lose a guy or Namari Burnett just get back cut. So they're going to have to be big on the defensive principles on both ends of the floor. But, Mike, I agree with you. It is a big deal to win the Big Ten championship. This is what you come to the Big Ten for. This is the first goal that every coach writes on the whiteboard to begin the season. Win the Big Ten, win the Big Ten championship, make the NCAA tournament, and then get deep into April. It starts with winning the Big Ten. Michigan is in the chance and in the position to win this thing outright. It is a big deal. They're going to come back to campus in 20 years and celebrate with each other about winning this thing. They got to take care of their business, and it starts with this one.
Yeah, again, trying to clinch a share of it, which they will with a win tonight, would give them their first regular season title since 2021. Let's go out west. The Battle of LA is happening as USC will take on UCLA. And Mike, you alluded to this earlier, but these are 2 programs in the last week feel like they're going in opposite directions. USC has lost 3 in a row. UCLA just pulled off a come-from-behind top 10 upset.
Yeah, but when you're in this situation where USC is first 4 out and UCLA is on the inside of the field but barely, what that means is that at this point you have shown that you are inconsistent. So what you did Saturday, while problematic for SC and wonderful for the Bruins, you absolutely have to make sure that you concentrate on this game. It doesn't matter what went before. You are playing your rivals, and that's probably a good thing for each of them, because SC needs to get beyond the mistakes they made in those final 65 seconds or so against Oregon. They absolutely damaged their own case by letting that game get away. And then for the Bruins, they have to forget about the fact that they got that huge win in dramatic fashion I really do believe this game is perfectly timed for each of them, and it should be fabulous.
Yeah, it's a fascinating matchup. When you look at where both teams are in the season, you look at USC, UCLA, two teams, to me, headed in different directions. UCLA starting to play their best basketball of the season. That offense was sensational against Illinois. The ball movement was crisp. They were getting out of transition. They were making shots. But on the other side, you look at USC, they've been playing bad basketball on the offensive end, and it's starting to affect their defense. We talk about Michigan playing one-on-one basketball against Duke. USC have been playing one-on-one basketball the last 4 or 5 games. It has been bad to watch. It has been selfish basketball. The ball's not moving. The ball is sticking in 1 or 2 players' hands. It's not going inside to the post. Ezra Asar and Jacob Coffey are just out there as rebounders. You've got to feed your big fellas, then play inside out, and then let those guards go cook. But it is a rivalry game, so all of that goes out of the window. These two teams are going to try to come hard and fight for LA.
Yeah, neither can afford a loss, so that's going to have to be some fun intensity for that matchup as they are both bubble teams. Indiana's playing Northwestern, and Mike, if the LA schools are squarely on the bubble, Indiana's not far off from being considered a middle-of-the-bubble team.
Oh, absolutely. I have them as an 11 seed. I actually put the Bruins above them because of the 2 great wins that they have, although there is the head-to-head that Indiana has. Indiana's problem, only 4 quad 1 wins still. This will not resolve that tonight, obviously. That's not going to impact that. But they need to get all the wins they can get, and they can't afford to take, again, I always hate to use this term, but they can't afford to take what the committee will view as a bad loss. Right now, Indiana's advantage is that they haven't lost any games in quads 3 and 4. That's the best part of their case beyond their predictive metrics. The predictive metrics for this team are great. The resume metrics are good enough, and that's why they're in the field. But that absence of quad 1 wins is problematic. So they need to make sure that they don't stain their resume any by taking a loss like this. And for me, what has to happen is they have to make sure that they find a way to control Nick Martinelli. They were not effective at all against Trey Kaufman-Renn defensively. They had other problems on Friday night, but that one is the one where it begins. They have to make sure that Martinelli, if he gets his 22, 23 points, fine, but make sure it's on 15 or 16 shots. He's inefficient, and you control the rest of them.
Yeah, for Indiana, this is a game you cannot lose, but you're looking at Northwestern, they're starting to play really good basketball. You look at Nick Martinelli, obviously one of the best players, not just in the conference, but in the entire country, and now they're starting to get their young guys to play better. Trey Singleton has been a beast on the glass. Jake West has been marvelous, controlling the offense, finding guys, making the right read, and now you're starting to see the reason why Coach Collins brought Jaden Reed into the program. He can score that basketball. He can get in the lane. He can knock down jumpers. And then if you get the best version of an Arrington Page, you get an NBA first rounder. He's a guy that can affect the game on all different levels. So if I'm Indiana, you've got to take this game seriously. You cannot look over Northwestern because those dudes can come in your gym and take over your trap. But you look at Indiana on the offensive end, it can no longer just be the Lamar Wilkerson show. Lamar Wilkerson is great, but you need those other guys to step up and help the young fella. You need Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey to give you something at the basket. You need Nick Dorn to knock down shots, and you need Tucker DeVries to be that secondary scorer. So if Lamar Wilkerson doesn't have it going or he gets in foul trouble, you can play through Tucker and win this game. Because this is a big game. You can't lose this one if you're the Hoosiers. You've got to take care of business early, give the crowd something to cheer about, and finish out throughout.
Yeah, they just got done playing 2 brutal games on the road against top 10 competition. You can afford to lose those. You can't afford to lose this one against the Cats. Quickly, Mike, your thoughts on Washington and Rutgers both trying to get as much as they can in terms of buys in the upcoming Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, for Washington, I was surprised by how they got controlled on the boards at Maryland. They really struggled. Solomon Washington for the Terps winds up with 14 boards. Hannah Steinbach, for the tremendous talent for the Huskies, winds up with 3. They barely got into double figures in offensive rebounds in terms of percentage for the Huskies. They have to do better in that regard. Rutgers had a very disappointing performance out at Minnesota. I thought they could be competitive in that game. Coming home, trying to protect the rack. This is a big game for the Scarlet Knights to get back on that nice little winning track, little winning scheme that they had going on. And I look at it really more than anything as a chance for two teams to get right. One of them's going to be really disappointed at the end of 40 minutes.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to see Washington playing hard. They went out to Maryland and they got punked. They just quit. They just did not play hard. They gave into it. And when you look at Washington, injured season or not, you still have 2-3 McDonald's All-Americans on that squad. You have a lottery pick and Hannes Steinbach on that squad. You've got to win these games. You've got to go out there and just play hard. Play the game. Because that game against Maryland, it was bad to watch because Washington is so much better than that. And then when you look at it, you dig into the box score, Hannes Steinbach goes 7 for 8 from the field, misses one shot, gets 14 points. But only 8 shots on the road for your best player is never the recipe for success. I want those guards to throw the basketball down low, play off the ball screen, let Hannes cook a little bit inside, and then that perimeter is going to open all the way up, and those seams are going to be right there to drive the ball. But big fella can never go on the road, get 8 shots, and expect to win the game for Washington.